What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to the station. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know what it is, your boy Ray G. You can find me on X at Ray GQ. Here we are. 15 weeks of NFL action in the books. We're rolling into week 16. Some big-time matchups here in the NFL. You know, in week 17, we hit the Giants and the Raiders. It could potentially be a battle for the #1 overall pick. From a college football standpoint, I mean, the season is over. College football playoffs begin this weekend. I'll actually be at the Texas A&M Miami game, so get a firsthand look. Cassius Howe, Francis Mauigoa, some of the other prospects that could be inside this 26 class. And we've already seen some declarations from some players that we thought may be going back to school. A player like Jacoby Lane out of USC, he is entering the draft. So another wide receiver to a very good wide receiver class. We've seen some other prospects. Brandon Cisse, cornerback out of South Carolina. We know he's going to be in the draft. Vega Ione is going in. Kamari Ramsey, safety out of USC. And then there's some surprising ones that we could see their name thrown into the hat here soon. Darian Mensah, the quarterback out of Duke, considering entering the NFL draft. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have not seen Darian Mensah play, if he were to declare, I absolutely think he would be on the radar for a back-end first-round pick. So today, in this mock, we're going one round deep, but for the first time, I'm doing trades. Y'all keep asking for it. Damn it, let's go do it. Let's throw some trades in the mix, see what these teams might do, how much it could cost them. I appreciate you tapping in. If you stick around to the end of the video, or if you're just here for a little bit and you find the information actionable and or entertaining, do one thing for your boy. Help this channel grow. We're trying to get to 40K, so hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, like the content. It's all draft all the time. This is what I do, baby. So I appreciate y'all being in the building. Let's pull up the PFF mock draft simulator right now, and let's get after it. Let's get after it and help some of these teams out. What's going to happen here in April? Giants are on the clock, #1 overall pick. We know that they need help for Jackson Dart, protection up front, another weapon with Malik Neighbors being out, but the Giants aren't. I'm not taking Carnell, Tate, or Jordyn Tyson #1 overall. So what they need to do is trade. And when you look at the teams that are behind the Giants right now, you've got the Raiders at 2. They need a lot of help. You've got the Cleveland Browns at 4. They need a lot of help and a quarterback. And then they've got the New York Jets at 5. Here's what I'll say. I think the Giants can do deals with either the Raiders or the Jets, either one of these teams. Which team is more desperate to get a quarterback? And for the sake of this mock, we're going to assume that Dante Moore is going to come out. We've seen that Arch Manning is already returning to school, so no Arch in this class, no Brennan Sorsby in this class. A lot of transfers right now in the college football landscape. The Jets have some additional capital. The Jets got some additional picks from that Sauce Gardner trade. So if there's going to be one to trade up to the #1 spot, I mean, the ammunition all lies right here with the Jets. And if I'm the Giants and I want a wide receiver, I think this is an ideal candidate to trade back with. Right now, I'm still not all the way sure what Cleveland's going to do. They absolutely need a quarterback, a franchise-changing quarterback. They're still paying Deshaun Watson a hell of a lot of money. You've got Shedeur Sanders right there on the roster. We'll see what he does over these next 3 games. Last Sunday, not a good performance for him or the Cleveland Browns team versus Chicago. But I think the team that would move up would be the Jets. And with the additional capital, they're going to have to give up that 5th pick, right? We're going to swap back. You're also going to give up, you're probably going to give up a future first-round pick as well. Let's see which one they would give up. Probably next year's first that they got from Indianapolis. They're going to have to give up a 2 this year from somewhere, 46 or 37. Damn it, you're giving me 37. I'm getting the top of the 2nd round. I'm getting your 5th pick. I'm getting next year's first-round pick. I think a pick flip, an additional 1st, an additional 2nd. I don't think it would cost him 2 first-round picks in 2027. An outstanding draft class. No players to trade. Let's give him another pick from 2026, though. Let's give the Giants another pick from 2026, so they'd get a 1. They'd flip-flop 1s. They'd get an additional 1. They'd get an additional 2. And they'd probably get something else. Probably a 2 next year as well. Let's see if this would do it right here to move the Jets up. Jets and the Giants, did that work? They declined that one? They declined that deal? The Jets couldn't move up? Let's see, trade. Oh, I got to do it right here. What the hell am I doing? Trade. Let's trade with the Jets right here. So Jets are going to give up 5. They're going to give up 1. They got to give up 37. They got to give up a 2. Giants are going to give up the number 1 overall pick. This trade has a 91% chance to be accepted. If I take that 2 off, is it still getting accepted? So a future 1 and a 2 for this. I think they would want more. It's a quarterback. You want it. That's what it's going to be. Boom. Jets are on the clock right now. They gave up one of those extra picks. The Giants get 3 picks for this one. They get a future first, a future second, and a second-round pick from the Jets this year. And at this spot, the Jets are on the clock, and the Jets are going to take, you know who, Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback out of Indiana. The Jets desperately need somebody. Right now, they're rolling out Brady Cook. There's going to be no Justin Fields, no Tyrod Taylor. They've got the additional draft picks. They still have first-round picks in the future. They still have seconds. So the Jets go get their guy of the future, Fernando Mendoza, out of Indiana, goes to the Jets. The Raiders are sitting right here thinking, you know what? We'll take whichever quarterback somebody doesn't take at number 1. And right here for them, if Dante Moore were to declare, we know it's not Geno, it's not Kenny Pickett, it's not Aiden O'Connell. Dante Moore, come on down. So you've got quarterbacks going off the board, picks 1 and pick 2. You've got Tennessee on the clock here at 3. You look at the teams behind them. I saw a mock where the Rams traded up to number 1. I don't think they're going to do that. They've got extra picks, extra capital. They're not gonna do that to go get a quarterback when you've got Matthew Stafford playing at such a high level. Tennessee Titans need a lot. Running back, wide receiver, offensive line, defense. Arvell Reese has been a popular pick for the Tennessee Titans. Here at 3, is there a world where they can move down? Who's coming up and for what is my question. I think Tennessee's sitting right here with the 2 quarterbacks off the board. They're put in a position where they probably need to make the pick. They probably need to make this pick. You see the Giants here at 5. Do they try to move back up to get a player? I think we're going to sit pat right here. And at 3, let's get Cam Ward some proper help. I love Rueben Bain. Arvell Reese makes sense. But you've got to get Cam Ward some weapons. You have to get him some help. And I think right here at pick 3, this is where they would entertain a wide receiver. Jordyn Tyson is the guy going to Tennessee at pick 3. At 4, Cleveland's on the board, and a lot of things are positions of need for the Cleveland Browns right now. Quarterback, obviously. Offensive line is a problem. Their O-line is a problem right now. They're down 4 starting linemen on that offensive front. That doesn't help the running game. It doesn't help the quarterback out. I like what Cleveland did last year, and I think if we go back and we look at the draft that they had, it was a great draft. I mean, they hit on Harold Fannin. You potentially have a quarterback with Sanders, Quinshon Judkins. When there's room available, he's a good player. Mason Graham, Carson Schlesinger. They hit a home run at Dylan Sampson as well as a serviceable running back. And they got additional picks. I like the move, the trade back from 2. They passed on Travis Hunter. Mason Graham looks like he's going to be a future Pro Bowl type player. Right here, I think it's upgrade the weaponry. Even if Sanders is not the long-term answer, or Deshaun Watson, or a veteran quarterback they may potentially bring in, which I don't think they will, continue to build this team. You're not winning the AFC North in 2026, Cleveland. Like, despite what people think, the objective for each team every year is not to go win the damn Super Bowl. They are not built and set up to have that type of success early in 2026. So continue to strengthen your team. Continue to get better. Strengthen your team. They went D-line last year early with Mason Graham. Right here is a spot where I do think wide receiver is a tremendous area of need for them. Right now, Jerry Jeudy, I don't know what's going on with him. Whomever's at quarterback, they're going to need somebody outside to get the ball to. So right here, cornerbacks, wide receivers go off the board back-to-back. Jordyn Tyson to Tennessee, and right here, Cleveland takes Carnell Tate, keeping him, in state of Ohio. So Carnell Tate going to the Browns, and I think he'd be a massive upgrade over the receivers that we have there. Same type of impact that we've seen Tetairoa McMillan have in Carolina. And, other draft classes, maybe these guys aren't as high, Tyson and Carnell Tate, but that's where we're at. There aren't any locked and loaded, gotta have it first, top 5 pick tackles in this class. There are no guards that you take that high. There's no cornerback that you're going to take that high. There are very few QBs in this class. So it's truly a class of get the guy that fits your team and makes the most damn sense. Screw what the board says here in 26. So the Giants are on the clock. Somebody's calling. The Carolina Panthers wanting to move up with the Giants? Do the Giants fall back here? Because this is a typical spot where if I'm mocking for the Giants, this is a spot where I give them a receiver. Get Jackson Dart some help with Malik Neighbors coming back. Get Dart some help. Wide receiver, guard, tackle, and cornerback positions of need right here. So I do think this could be a spot where the Giants say, you know what? We need a receiver. We don't want to go D-line again after taking Abdul Carter early. So Carolina's calling, and, that's dropping back 11 spots right here, but I do think they still can accomplish their goal by moving back. So right here, Carolina, they're gonna flip-flop with New York. New York's going to give them 5. I wonder who Carolina's coming up for. I've got an idea. They're going to give up 5, swap 5 with 16. They're also going to get Carolina's 48th pick in the second round, and they're going to get a future pick from Carolina here in round 1 in 2027. Is that enough? Is that enough? And the Giants going to have to kick something back, right? Giants would kick back, what, a 4th, a 3rd round pick? They don't want any part of that. I'm not giving you a future first. Giants kick back a future 2nd, future 3rd. I think that's probably more appropriate. I'm not giving you a 2nd, and I'm not giving you a 1st round pick for you to come up. You give me a 2nd, a future 1st, and we flip-flop. You get my 5 and you get my 3rd. Let's offer this. Not accepted. They didn't want to do that deal, okay? One more attempt at this, or we're going to close the phone lines up. I guess we can give you the 2nd round pick. Is that going to get it done? We give up our 2nd round pick. We get your 1st round pick and your 2nd round pick from this year. Is that something the Giants would do to move back a couple of spots to potentially still get a wide receiver? Let's offer it. Carolina accepted. They're on the clock. I know what they want to go do. They want an edge rusher. They've got to replace Brian Burns. They need linebacker and edge. So right here, Arvell Reese out of the Ohio State. Hybrid linebacker, off-ball, edge rusher guy comes off the board for Carolina. It would be a position of need filled for the Panthers in a big way. Offensive line, always Bryce Young. Weaponry, they can do that, but I think getting an edge rusher and linebacker combo and Arvell Reese makes a lot of sense for the Panthers, and the Giants have dropped back. Giants are here at 16, and they're just stacking picks. They got multiple firsts next year. They've got assets galore this year. They will get a receiver in this mock. Arizona at 6, quarterback, running back, guard, and tackle positions of need for the Arizona Cardinals. It's been rough with Trey Benson out there, and we've seen what happens when your team is not ready to go and you draft a running back and your offensive line isn't right. Arizona's going to have a new quarterback next year, more than likely. They're going to have a new quarterback, so let's protect that quarterback with one of the better offensive line prospects in this class, Spencer Fano right here. You got Francis Mauigoa out of Miami. I'll get a chance to see him this weekend. Caleb Lomu. What do you do if you're Arizona right here? This is a tough spot. I mean, best player available. They need a running back. Jeremiyah Love coming in relief of James Conner, but they've got Trey Benson, probably a new coach in place. I'm going to go O-line for Arizona right here. It doesn't... Need versus BPA. Need versus BPA. Rueben Bain is on the board. Do they need edge rusher? This is telling me no. I know they went out and spent money on Sweat last year. Let's go O-line. Let's protect the quarterback. Spencer Fano out of Utah. Let's protect the quarterback. Feels a little high for him, but it is a position of need for Arizona. They take the tackle at 6. Saints are on the clock at 7. I like what we've seen from Tyler Shuck. I definitely think that is something the Saints and Kellen Moore can work with and continue to develop. A wide receiver would be great to help them out. They took Kelvin Banks last year in round 1. Tackle, guard is a position of need. Defensive line is where I'm going. And right here for the Saints, Rueben Bain being on the board at 7, I think they snipe him. They snipe him from the Washington Commanders, who that would make a lot of sense for Washington as well at 8. But here at 7, let's see who's calling on the door. The Bengals are knocking. The Bengals are knocking to move up. I don't know how often an active Cincinnati is in the draft. I know the Saints have moved around before. Let's go Rueben Bain right here. You got to replace Cam Jordyn at some point. What a good player to learn from in Cam Jordyn, one of the best Saints defensive linemen in their franchise's history, getting a tutor, Rueben Bain Jr. here at 7. At 8, the Washington Commanders need a lot. Tight end, guard, edge rusher, linebacker, defensive back. They need a lot of defense in this class. Out of this draft class, out of the free agency pool, they need a lot of defense. And with Zach Ertz's ACL injury that he suffered in week 15, tight end is also a position of need. Just don't know if you can take a tight end this high right now. Guard, edge, linebacker. Let's take a look at the edge rushers that are available. It's a nice class for defensive line. Edge rush, linebacker, nice class. You got Keldric, Faulk, David Bailey, Cassius Howe. Again, I get to see him this weekend. It's kind of smaller prospects, so we'll see how that plays out. But right here, Keldric, Faulk, I think this is something that Dan Quinn can work with right here. Him or David Bailey going to Washington would make a lot of sense. I think David Bailey's a little more explosive. Faulk is the bigger player. So let's give Washington Keldric, Faulk at 18, edge rusher out of Auburn. Cincinnati on the clock at pick 9. We hear everything that's going on with Burrow and difficulties this season, struggles this season. The Bengals offensive line, for what it's worth, has not been the weakest link of this team this year. They still need to get better up front, and they need a big guy in the middle. Peter Woods fits the bill. They need interior defensive line. They're probably going to lose Trey Hendrickson. Peter Woods isn't an edge guy. You're not going to play him outside wide to have him rush the passer, but on the interior, I think Peter Woods would make a lot of sense right here for the Cincinnati Bengals. Rams are on the clock. They get a gift. They got the 10th pick from the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons, they got James Pierce, and they took Jalen Walker. 2 very good edge defenders, going to be good. Would they rather have the pick? Who knows? Falcons fans say they're happy with what they got out of last year's draft. Rams are on the clock right here. Quarterback, tackle, and cornerback positions of need. McCoy still high on everyone's board. I talked to a scout last week about him because I've been very hesitant on drafting a cornerback coming off of an ACL tear that did not play all of 2025. And what I was told is they've seen or heard about him in practice and his recovery, and he's 100%. He's 100%. Ready to go. He's going to test well. All the medicals are going to check out, and he's going to position himself to be a top pick in this class. So right here at 10, cornerback Jermod McCoy. You've got Caleb Downs on the board, winner of the Thorpe Award. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the college football awards. Caleb Downs on the board. They've got some safeties in LA. How good would he be versus McCoy? We're going to go cornerback right here for the Rams. We're going to take Jermod McCoy here at pick 10, and this is the highest that I have mocked him since I've started doing this for this cycle. At pick 11, the Kansas City Chiefs eliminated officially from the playoffs, and every time I do this mock, what do I say? Hey, KC's not going to be picking this high. They're not going to be picking this high. There's no way. Well, damn it. Patrick Mahomes out, torn ACL. I'm not sure they win another game this season. So here at 11, I am not an insider for any of these teams. We're just reacting to what we see and what I know about these collegiate players and how they might fit into some of these NFL offenses. So if this is your squad or these are your teams and there are other positions that you guys think that your squad needs, no offense, all right? No offense right here. But this iteration of the Kansas City Chiefs is over. They need a running back. They need a tight end. Defensively, they held up versus the Chargers, but they couldn't move the ball down the field. They need another receiver, in my opinion. So we are going to attack the offensive side of the ball. And I really want to give him Jeremiyah Love. And when I came into this mock today, I was like, there's no doubt I'm giving him Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon. Sadiq, 6'3", 245 pounds. I don't know how much longer Travis Kelce's going to be in the building. And that's what I'm going to do. I want to give Kansas City Jeremiyah Love. Give them a dynamic running back, especially with your quarterback returning from a serious injury. But you need to protect him. I don't want to go O-line right here because it's not a strong class. At the tackle position, at the guard position, you've got some guys, Vega Ion and Francis Mauigoa probably dropping inside. But if you're talking about dynamic playmaker at the tight end position, Kenyon Sadiq is the best in this class. And they've got to find a replacement for Kelce. So let's get this offense back on track. Let's get an explosive young weapon at the tight end position for your quarterback when he returns from his injury. Kenyon Sadiq to the Kansas City Chiefs at pick 11. They go tight end. Minnesota's on the clock at 12, and they are happy. They are thankful because they get their choice and their option of Caleb Downs or Jeremiyah Love. And for the sake of this mock, I am going to pick Jeremiyah Love. I want to give my young quarterback an explosive, dynamic option out of the backfield, quick outlet option for J.J. McCarthy when things aren't open down the field. And let's improve our rushing attack that Jordan Mason did not do. Aaron Jones, older, banged up quite a bit this year. I think this would make a ton of sense for the Minnesota Vikings to go Jeremiyah Love here at 12. At 13, Miami is on the clock. We just saw them do absolutely nothing in the game last night versus Pittsburgh. PFF saying wide receiver, guard, and cornerback positions of need for the Dolphins. I think Mike McDaniel will be back. I think Mike McDaniel will be back for Miami as the head coach. I'm not sure that Tua is back as the quarterback. Tyreek Hill probably not back to start the season with how devastating that injury is. You've got Achane. You absolutely can stand to improve your offensive line up front, get better up front for protection, but the defense is bad. Mansoor, Delane, they need a cornerback. You've got Minkah Fitzpatrick on the back end, so Caleb Downs would be awesome there, but right here we're going Mansoor, Delane, cornerback out of LSU to the Miami Dolphins. The Dallas Cowboys are now on the clock at pick 14, and they cannot get to the podium fast enough. It's about time. Playing around with Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker in the back end, let's get a proper safety. As a fan of this damn team, I've been wanting them to draft an impact safety since Earl Thomas was at Texas. I was like, come on, get you some Earl Thomas. Didn't happen. Jalen Ramsey back in 2016. Didn't happen. Right here, pick 14. Caleb Downs may be the number 2 overall player, but you don't take a safety inside the top 5. It's probably not worth the positional value. But here at 14, if Caleb Downs is on the clock, is on the board, I think Dallas would run to the podium and get the quarterback of their secondary in place right here. Yes, edge rusher is a position of need. Absolutely. Linebacker would be in play. But with Caleb Downs on the board, if I'm Dallas and how poor that secondary was last night on Sunday night versus the Vikings and how poor they've been overall throughout the season, give me Caleb Downs right here to Dallas. Baltimore on the clock at 15, guard and defensive line positions of need. We got to protect Lamar. We've got to protect Lamar, and there are some tackles that are probably kicking inside. You got Francis Mauigoa, probably play a little bit outside, and then interior, Vega Ione out of Penn State, who is also declared for the draft. Caleb Lomu is down here as well. O-line or D-line, guard or D-line. There are rumors that Baltimore is going to make a run at George Pickens in free agency, so I'm not going to give them a wide receiver. Let's give them a guard. Vega Ione out of Penn State, big guard, physical guard. Let's get him in there because Daniel Falele should not be playing inside for Baltimore right now. Not good. Giants are finally back on the clock. They've had to wait a little bit, but you know what? No receivers have come off of the board for the Giants. No receivers off of the board since they probably potentially would have taken one a lot earlier. They got future picks. Right here, they can accomplish the same goal. Get the Biletnikoff award-winning wide receiver Makai Lemon out of USC. I think this would be an outstanding fit here in New York, especially if Wan'Dale Robinson leaves in free agency. Makai Lemon is a slot guy. It'd be a nice compliment to go with Malik Neighbors. Makai Lemon and Malik Neighbors with Jackson Dart. I love the sound of that. We're going Makai Lemon to the Giants at 16. At 17, the Detroit Lions are on the clock. Center, tackle, defensive line, and cornerback positions of need, and we are going to go O-line. We know the interior of that offensive front. They tried to go get Frank Ragnow out of retirement. You got Francis Mauigoa, tackle, Caden Proctor as well. We're going to go Francis Mauigoa, tackle out of Miami. That doesn't address the interior, but that absolutely impacts their tackle need. D-line, though. D-line and cornerback, still tough. Lions fans keep telling me they're not taking a damn D-lineman again. They keep saying we're not taking a D-lineman again. Let's see who's on the trade clock right here. Pittsburgh wants to move up a few spots. We're just going to make the pick. We're going to make the pick right here. We are going to take Francis Mauigoa. Where are you at? Where are you at? O-tackle. Tackle's a position of need. You got Penei Sewell on one side. I thought it was... Who's on the left side? It wasn't Decker. I don't know who is on the left side for the Lions. But they say it's a position of need. I'm going to go Francis Mauigoa, probably the best tackle on the board right here. Jets are on the clock at 18. This was one of their second picks in round 1. They took Fernando Mendoza at the top of the first round, and I don't believe that to move up those spots, they'd have to give up both of those first-round picks. I doubt that's going to happen. So the Jets are on the clock. They got their quarterback, wide receiver, defensive line, linebacker, cornerback, everything on the defensive side of the ball. Or everybody likes to talk about, do you get your young quarterback weapons? You got Boston, you got Concepcion, Jacoby Lane declared, Chris Brazzell declared, Jeremy Bernard. The answer is no. They traded for Adonai Mitchell. You've got Garrett Wilson returning. You got Mason Taylor at tight end. What you needed was a quarterback. Let's see what some of those other guys do. We can address wide receiver a little later. D-line, linebacker, and cornerback positions of need. And I do think defensive line is where they would prioritize. After losing Quinn Williams, they've got to get back at that. They've got to get back at that. David Bailey is available right here, edge rusher out of Texas Tech, who's been really good, 6'3", 250 with Aaron Glenn. Or you just go dynamic. You go full dynamite, Sonny Styles, and I think everybody in New York would be happy with the selection of Sonny Styles right here for the Jets. But we're going to go David Bailey. We're going to go edge rusher for the Jets, David Bailey to pair up with Fernando Mendoza. And right here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are very happy because Styles is still on the board, and they go off-ball linebacker Sonny Styles at 19. They ran to the podium real quick. Pittsburgh, they tried to move up, probably to take a wide receiver. We see DK Metcalf doing his thing, quarterback position of need. DB, they can go after Avion Terrell. With Slay being out, I definitely think Terrell would be in play, but you've got to get another pass catcher opposite DK Metcalf. You have to, and the one that fits the skill set, that fits what they want to do, especially if Rodgers is back, in my opinion, one of the most dynamic players in the class, Casey's Concepcion out of A&M. Excited as hell to get to see him in person this weekend. The Eagles are on the clock. Wide receiver, guard, edge rusher, and cornerback positions of need in Philadelphia. I think we're going to see big shakeup in Philly. I think we're going to see a lot of new stuff in Philadelphia come 2026. What do they do with A.J. Brown in the offseason? Everybody keeps talking about A.J. Brown's going to be gone. A.J. Brown's going to be gone. I'm just telling you what I've seen watching them. Their offensive line is not good. I know they're banged up. Lane Johnson banged up, but I'm watching Mailata get whipped constantly on the left-hand side. Up front, they can't run the ball. So let's look at the offensive line prospects that we have. We've got Kadyn Proctor. If he could reach his full potential, this would be an awesome fit. You've got Caleb Lomu out of Utah. Drop down the board a little bit. I think Proctor very much in play right here for Philadelphia. Now, he's listed as a tackle. Can he kick inside the guard? I don't know. He's pretty damn big. 6'7", 366. Maybe Makai Becton, shades of Becton. You put Proctor on the interior. Does he have the strength and the power? He's got the athleticism for sure. Edge rusher, Jalen Phillips. Cornerback is another position of need. I think that's a big position of need is defensive back. You cannot, Adoree Jackson, Riley, not Riley Moss, Cooper DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell, fantastic, but DeJean more of an interior slot coverage defensive back. Safety, Avion Terrell or Brandon Cisse would make a lot of sense here in Philadelphia. And I do think with Jalen Phillips there, we're going to pass on edge rusher. We're not going to take a tackle that we think we can convert to guard right here. And I don't want to take a wide receiver right now. So we're going to go cornerback, Avion Terrell out of Clemson, going to pair up with Quinyon Mitchell to make a nasty defensive backfield. Right here in Houston, running back, center, and guard positions of need. O-line for the Houston Texans. Interior guys, Connor Lew is going to be up there as one of the top interior offensive linemen. I think right here, this is where you do take a shot on the talent and the upside of Kadyn Proctor. So Kadyn Proctor, you are going to Houston. Dallas is back on the clock. They're second of their first-round picks. They went Caleb Downs with pick 14. Running back, edge rusher, linebacker, and safety positions of need still for the Dallas Cowboys. Cassius Howell is on the board, edge rusher out of A&M, a little smaller. So we're going to go off-ball linebacker. Maybe not the best positional value at 14, but right here at pick 23, I've got no issues with it. C.J. Allen out of Georgia. C.J. Allen is a stud. 6'1", 235 pounds. Georgia's got a great history of linebackers. I think this is a spot where we could see him come off of the board right here for Dallas. So Dallas goes linebacker, CJ Allen at pick 23. They went Caleb Downs at pick 14. Buffalo Bills on the clock at 24. Edge, linebacker, defensive back. Their run defense has to get better. They've got to be able to generate pressure. Linebackers, defensive backs, edge rushers, all in play for Buffalo. Let's look at the best available edge right now. We got Howell, you got TJ Parker, Romello Height. Such a good class. Such a good class. Here at 24, even though the measurables aren't ideal, the measurables aren't ideal. 6'2", 248. We'll see what he measures in at. TJ Parker, I know it was a down year for Clemson, but this is still a really good player. We're going to give him TJ Parker out of Clemson, a little bigger player, a little more size to him. I think Cassius Howe is still going to be in play as a later first-round pick here in 2026. Chicago and their opportunistic defense has been incredible this year. D-line and safety positions of need for the Bears. I'm thinking through Chicago. Offensively, they've got their weapons on offense. They've got their running game. They've got their quarterback. They've got their receiver. Offensive line, they made a lot of additions in free agency. So defense is definitely the spot that we want to prioritize. And Caleb Banks, while makes a lot of sense, like he only played 3 games this year. So do I really want to give the Bears an injured interior defensive lineman? I'm not going to do that. Caden McDonald is going to be a big riser throughout this process, ranked 24th right now on the board. PFF, 6'3", 6'3", 330, damn near for McDonald. So right here, you plug him into the middle of that Bears defense, let him free up some stuff for the back end. I like the fit. This defense has been incredibly opportunistic of late. The Chargers are on the clock here. Offensive line, defensive line. Offensive line, defensive line. You can go either position. Chargers got to protect Justin Herbert. They lost both tackles, which has been a detriment for this team. Their interior, their offensive line absolutely needs an upgrade. And I think the best center in this class is Connor Lew out of Auburn. I don't give a damn what the rank is. Let's draft need. Let's keep Justin Herbert upright. Connor Lew out of Auburn goes to the Chargers at 26. Niners on the clock at 27. They are going to lose Brandon Ayuk. Ricky Pearsall constantly hurt. You've got Juwan Jennings, and who knows what's going on with his contract stuff. They got to find another receiver. I think they need to go offensive line, but wide receiver, I do believe, is a priority for this team. Again, another one of those squads that I've heard rumored to have interest in George Pickens. Chris Bell would be a great fit. Like, this would be the pick right here. However, the news surfaced that he tore his ACL. I don't want to do that to San Francisco. They've already got a ton of injuries that they've dealt with right now. We're just talking about them not having multiple wide receivers because they're injured, hurt, or contract issues. So we got to go with one that's healthy. And he's very good, probably going to be a first-round pick. Little different archetype, and I'd be curious to see how he fits in Shanahan's system. But Denzel Boston, the big wide receiver out of Washington, 6'4", 210 pounds. San Francisco, get Brock Purdy a big target, a big weapon. Add him to this offense. I think this helps, especially their receiving core. Cleveland on the clock at 28. And in round 1, the Browns took Carnell Tate. They went wide receiver out of Ohio State. And right here, they are going offensive line. Caleb Lomu still on the board out of Utah. You are a Cleveland Brown. Let's protect whomever's playing quarterback. And if he needs to kick inside, I do think he's got the size to move inside. Yeah, 6'6", 308. He can definitely kick inside, be one of those bigger guards if they need him. But you've got a tackle right here. Swing tackle guard combo with this player out of Utah. The Patriots on the clock at 29. Guard, tackle, edge rusher, and safety. You got to protect Drake May, offensive line, edge rusher, position of need. Safety, we're not going to go there right now. Tackle, O-line. Let's protect May. I think that's the easy solution to do is protect Caleb May. Drake May. I don't know if Ginnings Dunker is going to be on the board at this point because the tackle and the guard class is thin. But right here, if you can get another guy up front, let's get somebody to protect Drake May. It's not a sexy pick, but build with the trenches. You'll appreciate it when your quarterback's upright and available for the entirety of the season. Seattle on the clock. Running back, guard, center, and cornerback. Positions of need. What's going to happen with Reek Woolen? I don't think they're taking a round one running back right here. And honestly, out of Jeremiyah Love, there's not another one available. Center and guard, they did take a guard, Gray Zabel, last year out of NDSU. So right here, we're going defense. Let's continue to add to a strength of a unit. Their defensive secondary, Mike McDonald gets Brandon Cisse, the SEC cornerback out of South Carolina, at 30. At 31, the Los Angeles Rams are on the clock. And in round one, they took Jermod McCoy, the cornerback out of Tennessee, tackle and quarterback positions of need. And right here for the LA Rams, if he declares, Lenore Sellers going back, we know Mauigoa's going back. We do have a quarterback, Darian Mensah, out of Duke, right here available at pick 31 for the Rams. I want to do it for shock value, but right here, I do think Ty Simpson probably going to be forced to come out. They probably want. Alabama, there's probably a subset of people who want him to come back, absolutely, but then some other people that want to see the talented freshman Russell play. So let's, on the assumption that Simpson does declare, I don't think he'd be picked inside the top 10. I don't think he'd be picked inside the top 15. But if he were to fall here at 31, a luxury pick for the Rams, who already addressed a big position of need with their selection of Jermod McCoy, I do think quarterback could be in play. Ty Simpson with Sean McVay. Let's make a contingency plan down the line for Matthew Stafford. He wouldn't play in year one, and that is A-OK. We're going to run it back with the same Rams squad in 2026. And then beyond that, Matthew Stafford, another year older. We've got a young quarterback in our wings and Ty Simpson out of Alabama. 32, Denver is on the clock. Tight end, center, and linebacker positions of need for the Denver Broncos, who are playing outstanding ball. So let's pull the tight ends up on the board. Let's pull the center prospects, interior O-line. Let's pull them up, and then let's pull the linebackers. Best available player out of these positions would be Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas, kind of a down season for Anthony Hill. You've got the guard Pregnon out of Oregon, right here, Emmanuel Pregnon, I think it's Pregnon out of Oregon. These last picks are always just kind of like, what do you think is the best fit for the Denver Broncos? They need a damn tight end, man. Like Evan Ingram, I don't know what he's doing or what's going on with him. But I don't know if there's one that you really want to take here at 32, just reaching for a tight end. Maybe it's something they address in free agency. Do they go pay an Isaiah Likely? Do they go pay a Kyle Pitts? Linebacker would be a position that they should probably address. Let's just look at best player available overall. There's some good players. Colton Hood still available. Romello Height, Cassius Howell, edge rusher. Let's just add to a strength of this Denver Broncos team. Offensively, we can find a tight end. We will find a tight end somewhere else. Linebacker, let's go with Anthony Hill. Linebacker out of Texas. A little bit of a down season for Hill. He's declared. I think he's still physical. Needs to be in the right defensive scheme, but adding him to what is already an incredible defensive unit and not asking him to do everything and be the captain of this defense would probably serve Anthony Hill wonders. Like, he didn't just go from a player that people were projecting to be a top 10 pick to awful and forgetting how to play football. Scheme was a little off this year. Wasn't the type of season UT wanted, but Anthony Hill Jr. is still a really good player. So we're going to go Anthony Hill Jr. right here, and that is going to round out this iteration of my round one mock with a few trades that we did in this one. We traded once. We traded with the Jets trade. We had the Panthers move up in this one, and here's how everything played out. Mendoza, Moore, Jordyn, Tyson, Carnell, Tate, and Arvell Reese were the top 5 picks. Arizona took Spencer Fano out of Utah. The Saints took Rueben Bain Jr. Keldric Faulk out of Auburn went to the Commanders. Peter Woods goes to the Bengals, and Jermod McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee, goes to the Los Angeles Rams at 10. Kenyon Sadiq, the Chiefs replaced Travis Kelce with Sadiq. Jeremiyah Love going to Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy. Mansoor, Delane going to Miami. Caleb Downs is a Dallas Cowboy. Vega Ione is a Baltimore Raven. And Makai Lemon with the trade back is a New York Giant. At 17, Francis Mauigoa out of Miami is a Detroit Lion. David Bailey drafted to the Jets. Sonny Styles goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Casey Concepcion to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Avion Terrell drafted by Philadelphia in this mock. Caden Proctor goes to the Texans. C.J. Allen going to Dallas. Dallas doubling up on defense. TJ Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson, goes to Buffalo. Caden McDonald to Chicago. Connor Lew, the center, goes to out of Auburn, goes to the Los Angeles Chargers. Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington, to San Francisco. Caleb Lomu, tackle out of Utah, to the Cleveland Browns. Ginnings Dunker, tackle out of Iowa, goes to the New England Patriots. Seattle Seahawks draft Brandon Cisse out of South Carolina. The Rams take Ty Simpson with their second first-round pick at 31. And then Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker out of Texas, goes to the Denver Broncos at 32. There it is. Yeah, I like this one. At least talking through it, it makes some sense. Curious to see what the Jets would want to do with that second first rounder if they trade up for Fernando Mendoza. How Giants fans feel about moving back and still able to get Makai Lemon. You've got Ty Simpson to the Rams at 31, an interesting fit. Denzel Boston to San Francisco. I've not seen a lot of that in mocks, but I think they need some wide receiver help. And I really do love the fit of Kenyon Sadiq in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, especially given everything that's going on with that team right now as we close out the 2025 season. All right. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Appreciate y'all being in the building. Mock draft season, man. I'm excited for this process. It's going to be a very interesting class with a lot of different names, different fits, and not a ton of high-end caliber talent in this class, but I think it's very deep, very good, and this is going to be a draft where teams just go get their guy. Like, who fits our system and what we need to accomplish here in 26, because 2027 is setting up to be an amazing class with a dope prospect pool. So thanks for pulling up. Give me a little bit of your time. If you stuck around to the end, hit the thumbs up button, like the content, subscribe to the channel. Let's run it up. We're trying to get ready to 40K. Much love. Enjoy the draft process. Wake up with Jay Rich and myself every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We talk NFL. We talk draft. We have a good time bright and early, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until next time, I'm out, y'all. Be easy. Peace.